Unity of the Huachucas presents Reverend Charli Tupper.
Open the door to your good.
I want to begin by telling you a story of a woman who had a fig tree, and she loved her fig tree. It was just brought her such great joy. And she was just expecting and in anticipation of the great figs that would be on this fig tree. And she watched it every day. And one morning she goes out and there is this big purple fig on the fig tree. One purple fig. And she picks the fig and she takes it to church and she places it on the altar. And the priest comes up to her and he says, "Are you sure you want to give your fig? The only fig that you have?" And she says, "Oh no, this is the first fruits of what is to come." And the next morning, the woman wakes up and she goes out and she looks at her fig tree and it is filled with purple figs. Today, I want to talk about open the door to your good. Our affirmation this month has been, God is, I am. In this consciousness, miracles abound. So in this story, the woman is not limiting herself to what she sees, to what is being shown. But she knows that the tree is a fig tree, and therefore it will produce figs. It is her faith that in God all things are provided. And this was just the first fruits of what was to come. Is there something in our lives, maybe in our own life, that we think of as being limited, that we see what is out there and we look at it and think that's all there is? We limit our own vision. It is we who put the limits on what we put into the energy of expecting our good, aligning ourselves to the infinite possibilities of moving toward that good. And that happens by changing our mind, by changing the way that our mind perceives what is going on in the world. How do we see the world? We see what our mind tells us to see. I'm going to say that again, because I think that's a really important piece. Our mind tells us what to see. We don't see what's really there. We see what we expect to see. God's good is not limited, scarce, or hidden. It is the very substance of life itself, always present and always available. When we recognize this, we begin to live from a place of trust and generosity, knowing that as we give, we also receive. I want to take a moment and talk about the difference between expectancy and expectation. Yes, they have the same root word, but expectation and expectancy hold a completely different vibration. To have an expectation is to set yourself up for disappointment. And you may have heard that before. It's kind of a common saying. If you have expectations, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Well, the vibration of expectation is one of expecting things to turn out exactly as I want them to. Expecting them to turn out for people to behave the way I think that they should behave, or for a situation to turn out the way I think a situation should turn out. And that is limiting. It's like we make this little teeny box, and in that little teeny box, we put this is what I expect to get. Expectancy is a completely different vibration. Expectancy is that energy that is alive and joyful, and I can hardly wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We talk about a woman expecting a child. She is in an energy of an anticipation of the good that is coming, that is being prepared. It's already here, but it's being prepared even more. And this good is what she is having that expectancy for. Or say you're planning a trip. You're in that energy of expectancy of, oh, I can hardly wait to see new sights and experience new foods and new cultures and all the good, to meet new people. It opens us up to the limitless possibilities. I often hear people say this or something better when they're praying for something. I would say this and something better. God is always giving us more than what is expected. Always giving us more than what is that limited vibration. It's right there. And as we change our vibration to meet that vibration of the good, it shifts the complete energy into an energy of joy and vitality and anticipation of God's good. God's good is omnipresent. It's not out there waiting to be found. It's here and now, in every breath, in every circumstance. When our eyes are open to Spirit's presence, we see blessings in unexpected ways. There's a question that I've learned to ask. Where is God in this? How is God showing up in this? When I turn that around, when I turn it around and ask those questions of where's God in this situation, then I am looking for the good. I am looking for that good. Where's God in this situation? I know there's good here. Where's the good? Expectancy of things to come, things to unfold in greater and greater ways. Greater and greater ways. Giving of the first fruits is an act of trust. It's an act of faith. It says that I trust God's abundance more than the appearance of lack. I trust God's abundance more than the appearance of lack. Say that with me. Just take a moment and let's take a breath and say together, I trust God's abundance more than the appearance of lack. How does that feel within you? I trust God's abundance more than the appearance of lack. When we engage in the principle, the spiritual principle of first fruits, then we are engaging in a practice of God first. God first. I'm putting God first in my life. I am putting God first and trusting and having faith in God, not in the appearance of what is. So I want to share another story with you. This is a story from the Old Testament. And it's a story about Elijah and a woman. Then the word of the Lord came to him saying, go now to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and live there, for I have commanded a widow there to feed you. So he set out and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the town, a widow was gathering sticks. He called her and said, bring me a little water in a vessel so that I may drink. As she was going to bring it, he called to her and said, bring me a morsel of bread in your hand. But she said, as the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked, only a handful of meal in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am now gathering a couple of sticks so that I may go home and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die. Elijah said to her, do not be afraid. Go and do as I have said. But first make me a little cake and bring it to me. And afterwards make something for yourself and your son. For thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, the jar of meal will not be emptied and the jug of oil will not fail until the day the Lord sends rain on the earth. She went and did as Elijah said, so that she, as well as her household, ate for many days. The jar of meal was not emptied, neither did the jug of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord that he had spoke by Elijah. The woman's faith in what Elijah had said to her opened up her faith that God would provide. That God said he would provide, and she had faith that that was true. God will provide. And what we have to do is we have to be open to what that looks like. We have to be open ourselves to let go of our expectation of what we think it should look like, and open ourselves to an expectancy, an energy of expectancy, and say, I wonder how God is going to show up here. I wonder what's going to show up here. I can hardly wait to see how God is going to show up right here in this circumstance. The woman gave of her first fruits. She only had a little flour, enough for one cake. And Elijah said, give me that one cake. Make me a little cake, and then go back and make a cake for your son and yourself. Wow, what faith that took to give that that cake to Elijah. But she did it because she was in a place of expectancy. She was expecting her good. She was expecting that she would have enough to feed her and her son until the rains came, and there would be new crops, and there would be new grain. She was in a place of, I'm going to feed my son, and then we're going to lay down and die because there's no food. And she was a widow, and she had no one to take care of her. Have you ever felt so destitute and so alone that you thought, I just want to lay down and die? Having that energy of expectancy completely shifts our experience of life. So, what does it look like to give our first fruits? To give our first fruits can be spending time in prayer. That's the first fruits of the morning is I spend time in prayer. Giving of our time, our resources, and intention. And everything else is added unto us. In fact, Jesus said that it would be added unto us, pushed down, shaken together, and running over. Wow. Pushed down. So it's packed down and it's shaken together. So all that good is in there and it runs over. And so it just doesn't bless us. It blesses everyone. It blesses the world. And I truly believe that we are here to bless the world. That it's not about what's in it for me. It's about we. It's about community. It's about this church community. It is about the greater community of the Sierra Vista area, the Huachucas. It is about the greater state of Arizona, about the United States. It is about the world. That when one person, just one person, changes their mind, it changes the world. Take that in for a moment. One person changes their mind, it changes the world. That's a tremendous amount of power. And wouldn't we like to change the world for the good? And so the question that I would leave you with today is, what are you expecting? Are you in a place of expectation? Of only expecting, you hear me sigh, I'm expecting that which makes you sigh, expecting it not to be as you would like it to be? Or are you in a place of expectancy, of opening up to that divine abundance that is everywhere present? Opening up to that expectancy where miracles abound. Miracles. You are a miracle. And you were created to continue to create miracles. And so what I would leave you with today is to expect the good. Is get yourself into that energy of, I can hardly wait. Ooh, I can hardly wait. Oh, wow. I can hardly wait. Like the woman with the fig tree. Oh, this is just my first fruits. I know that tree is going to be full of figs. And I can hardly wait because I love figs. And she gets up the next morning, and that abundance has been there, has materialized. These aren't just nice little platitudes to make us feel better. This is spiritual principle at work. This is spiritual law. And spiritual law cannot be broken. So let's take this into meditation. Let's take a moment and just center ourselves, bringing our awareness, bringing our full awareness to that divine presence that is right here, right now, in this very place within each and every one of us. It is this divine presence that is the energy of expectancy. And it cannot be the energy of expectancy without knowing that that will be fulfilled. And so we just open up. I can hardly wait. I am experiencing healing in my body in this very moment. I am experiencing a shift in my consciousness, knowing that I live an abundant life, that God is providing my good always, right on time. I am a miracle. I trust God's abundance more than the appearance of lack. And I know that that abundance shows up for me in wondrous ways. As I give freely and faithfully, I receive abundantly, pressed down, shaken together, running over. God's good is everywhere present. And so in this moment, I relax into that knowing. And I accept the energy of expectancy. And so it is. Amen.